They're so mad. I can't believe this. I've never seen these SJWs on the fringes of the comic book industry so mad before. And what did I do? I barely did anything. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a 29-year veteran of the broken and sad comic book industry, full of desperate malcontents. Yeah, I got a nice big fat royalty check yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. For Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, the Snyder Cut. By the way, you'll have to excuse me. I told you guys on Twitter I'm not feeling well. I have a cold. I have a fever. I have chills. Could be COVID. It could be the vid. It could be the Omicron variant. I don't know. I don't know what kind of variant it might be. And I said to you guys, I'm not going to be doing too many videos while I'm ill. But I'm telling you, it's things like this. I look at Twitter on the couch. I'm like, and I look at Twitter, and I see these mopes, these sad sacks, these mentally ill weirdos crying over my success. And to me, it really is like a ray of light. It's like the boulder being rolled away from the sepulcher. I rise, I come out, and I say, "Oh, doubting Thomas, feel, you know, or not even feel, but look at the evidence. Here's my royalty check. You guys doubt? You seriously doubt? All right, so what's going on? So of course I'm very grateful. I want you to understand I'm a man who is full of graciousness. I'm somebody who will say thank you. I will also say you're welcome. And this is what I tweeted out yesterday, even though I was ill. Never too sick to say thank you, guys. I am Utu Shamash, Sun God of Comicsgate. That is my new name on Twitter, or Ethan Van Sciver. I just got my royalties for the hashtag Snyder Cut of Justice League, you Snyder bronies. It's enough for a new car. You're welcome, Zack Snyder, because I received a special thanks. Did you know that? I received a special thanks in the movie. And then again, thank you, DC Comics. I'm going to say thank you. I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds. Appreciate it. Thank you for the nice 5-figure check with which I could, if I wanted to, buy a car. I'm not going to. I'm going to lose it on the roulette wheel. I'm going to bet it all on red. Right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Or you bet it all on black? Anyway, that's what I'm going to do, because it might be a lot of money for some people. It's not a lot of money for me. Please. I only carry $5,000 bills. All right, it is a lot of money. I'm just kidding. Anyway, this really upset. That's really upset these people. This guy, look, I have all these people blocked. All these he/him pronoun weirdos. I have them all blocked, and yet they cannot stay away. They're so interested in what I say and what I do. This was me saying thank you to DC Comics, and you're welcome to Zack Snyder, and letting my fan base know that the Snyder Cut did serve a purpose after all. It wasn't just a really sad thing that Warner Media, DC Entertainment was forced to do so that they wouldn't be called racist by Ray Fisher anymore after all of that manipulation. It wasn't any of that. It wasn't that, there was a fan movement of harassers and led by a cult leader named Zack Snyder who mobilized the most ridiculous and enormous harassment mob by calling them co-producers in the Snyder Cut, restore the Snyder universe, whatever it was. And Warner Media suffering and not handling the PR hits that Ray Fisher was giving him. It's tough. I mean, Ray Fisher's like, look, essentially, I asked them. I said, does Cyborg have a penis? And they said, we're not sure, probably not. And they said, so the first black male superhero in the DCEU has no dick, huh? And that was a big problem. That's when the allegations of racism began, and DC just did not handle it well. Well, I handled it just fine. I laughed through the whole thing. I watched about 10, 15 minutes of the movie and turned it off. It was terrible. I was concerned. I was like, did they use the elements from the original Joss Whedon Justice League movie? The ones that got me a 6-figure paycheck, which I did. I got a nice 6-figure paycheck because they used Iron Heights Prison, which I own character equity in. I guess it's like location equity, but I signed an equity agreement with DC Comics. Whenever they use Iron Heights Penitentiary, I get paid. And because Jeff Johns is the guy who kind of decides things like this, He's over there in Hollywood. Whatever Jeff gets paid, I get paid. It's magnificent. In any case, the hell was I saying? Oh yeah. So they're crying. Do all comic book artists, writers declare how great their royalty checks are, or is this rare for him? No, it isn't. Every quarter, I get a big, huge royalty check from DC Comics, and then on top of that, every uh, like I think in January and then in July, I receive something called an MMG check, a royalty check, which is merch, media, and gaming. Okay, and because I created Atrocitus, Saint Walker, all of this other stuff that Jeff Johns is trying to push because he's also involved in receiving royalties for those things. Those checks are enormous. So this happens all the time, but this is particularly funny to me, and I'll tell you why. He says money that isn't tied to extremely late campaigns that he can legally spend on himself. I can spend some of that money on myself if I want to, Michael. In fact, when I run a business, I, have an S corp. I'm supposed to be spending some of that money on myself, or I get in trouble with the IRS. Anyway, I don't think I've seen any other professionals doing this brag. Well, maybe they did not receive enough money for a car. That would be my first thing. When other professionals are not bragging about how much money they received for the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, maybe they didn't get as much as I did. You ever think of that? Maybe they did not receive enough to buy a brand new Chevy Camaro 2022 fully loaded. Maybe they didn't get that. Now, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not buying a car. I'm just saying that's how much it was fully loaded. That's how much it was. I'm going to lose it at blackjack. I'm not going to buy anything with it. I don't care. This is just my way of saying thank you, DC Comics, and you're welcome, Zack Snyder. And it is funny because Zack Snyder, again, most famously, this is why it's extra funny. Zack Snyder did come out and call Geeks and Gamers and Jeremy, what's his name? Jeremy Griggs called them bigots, a hate group, people who are responsible for the mass genocide of Asian people just because they make Star Wars videos dunking on Star Wars. Zack Snyder's an asshole. I'm happy to take this money. I love it. This money is sweeter than any royalty check I've ever gotten before. I told that guy to go F himself in many videos. I did not have the opportunity to tell him to his face, but that was the point of much contention between me and the Geeks and Gamers and Friday Night Tights crew. He should have been told to his face, go F yourself. All right, so these people are crying. They're imagining, and this is the car that I bought here, Evesy. They all have these cutesy nicknames for me. Ha ha ha, it's funny. Reggie T, Black Lives Matter, says Ethan is lying. I promise you I'm not Reggie T. You have to understand. If you can just, he's like, I'd like to seem shocked, but I did not see that coming. I didn't either. I was overwhelmed. I knew I was going to be receiving a check for this, but I didn't think that, I honestly didn't think that DC Entertainment was going to help fund Comicsgate and my Comicsgate lifestyle the way that they did. I appreciate it. Thank you. Not a person says, from what I know, they generally don't get royalties to brag about, so I think he might be completely lying a bit. No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. See this right here, this tab? If I clicked on this, you'd see the price. You would see the royalties. You would see my royalty statement. But I'm not going to click on it. That would be classy, and I'm very classy. I might brag about it, but I'm not going to actually show you. He's like that one kid in school that says they have an expensive new toy, but if you ask to see it, they say no because they don't have it. Oh my God. Oh, you nerd. All right, here we got this guy seems kind of shitty. There are people who are professionals because they've been paid to work and people who act like professionals. They are not always the same people. Let me see. People who are professionals because they've been paid to work, and people who are not professionals because they haven't been paid to work. I actually was not paid to do any work here, to be fair, Steve. I didn't do any work to receive this check. Zero. That's why I like it so much. All I did was make videos making fun of this movie and making fun of Ray Fisher. I mean, if you really think about it, all I did was, 20 years ago, create a prison. And then I spent the rest of the time in between then and now making fun of Ray Fisher and Zack Snyder. So I didn't, you wouldn't call me a professional in this situation in any regard, in any way. I didn't do any work and yet I received money. So what is that called? All right. My two most hated sons. That's because he loves himself. Glenn Matchett said that's correct. He needs to lie in order to keep his base thinking he is of some import. Nothing used by Zack Snyder would have paid for a car by Van Sciver. Not true. Not true at all. In fact, if I wanted to, we could go over and we could pick up this car right now. I don't want one. I mean, I would never drive a car this cheap. I just wouldn't do that. Not only that, it's like I really like SUVs, but I could definitely go and buy this car right now with cash and just walk off the lot. And why? Because I created important things for DC Comics with Jeff Johns many years ago. Let me see. Ego showing through. Yes, 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 yes. Ask other people who were thanked in the credits if they were paid. When they say no, we'll know EVS is lying, or maybe they're lying. What if they say no and they're lying to you? Pretty sure they were paid. This sad sack guy here, this fellow who looks like Rachel Maddow and Pee Wee Herman, they both look the same anyway. It's not like says most creators admit to getting maybe 5K as the result of their idea of making billions for a studio. I somehow doubt EVS if check could afford a car. No, it could. I promise you it could. Unless it's a very cheap one with a low down payment. No, I would just walk away with it. I would walk away with a car. And you got it. And I know you guys are not used to making any money at all, but you have to believe me. I can pay for cars with cash easily. And this is completely unexpected. It was just a windfall. Jonathan Collier says, you doubt, but you don't know. Now, this person actually has, but do you know? No, you don't. Yeah, that's right. He's like, yeah, you doubt it, but do you know? No, you don't. Of course you don't know. This guy actually has some common sense here. Well, yes, I believe he has got royalties for the movie, and that's only because he worked with Johns on some of the biggest DC comics of the 2000s. I don't think his royalties are as much as he's saying, and only doing this for bragging rights. All I said was I could afford to buy a new car. That's all I said. A new car, a new Camaro, a new 2022 Camaro, a good one, fully loaded. Only doing this for bragging rights, that is true. Only doing this because it's funny. And also doing it out of gratitude. I want to just say thank you. I want to say thank you to DC Entertainment for cutting me this enormous paycheck. I really appreciate it. When other people in the comic book industry are starving and having to work very hard, money just falls into my lap from these big companies that these guys, these nerds aspire to work for. I already did that. I did my time. Very happy, even though I'm sick. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. What am I going to do with this money? It's just free money. Maybe I'll just donate it to the Trump campaign. Thanks, everyone. See you again later with another video. Take care.